Welcome to Police Chaplain's Corner. My name is Sean. Many of you know already, but I'm a retired police detective with almost 28 years of service to the law enforcement community. After my retirement from law enforcement, I went into full-time Christian ministry and then had the opportunity to come back and serve the law enforcement community as a police chaplain, which I do today. It is my privilege to take a few minutes to share some information that I believe will be beneficial to you in your career, in your personal life, and in your spiritual development. This is the goal, to take just a few minutes regularly to talk about specific topics that will give you some direction, some focus, a filter, if you will, for how to do your job well and how to do your job best. Today, we are, as a nation, are coming off of the Chauvin trial and his ultimate convictions on all counts for his mistreatment and ultimate conviction for the murder of George Floyd. Now, these things are tragic, and although they are an anomaly really in police work, it is the hotbed issue in our world, meaning our country, and they ultimately get the most attention. Rarely do you hear about the good work that law enforcement officers are doing daily and around our country, but you hear of these one-offs, if you will, where police have to use deadly force and those actions get scrutinized and those actions are judged, and they should be. But we have to do so with the right kind of filter, with a goal of looking for the truth, not just looking to blame, with an opportunity to make effective, necessary change without making the definition of one's heart, one's motive, one's feeling towards one people group or another, simply because we are of different races. The Word of God teaches us to treat people a particular way in accordance with the scriptures. And so my goal is to help us all refocus and reposition ourselves so that what we do in the law enforcement world is filtered through faith and not filtered through our feelings. Difficult to do when you find yourself in some of the worst situations of life, when you become the witness, when you become the enforcer. Being able to take those moments and filter them properly is a challenge, which is why taking the opportunity to talk about these moments in these videos is helpful, because you now begin to think about something that will allow you to step into those difficult situations and hopefully be reminded of the things that we're talking about, so that your outcome is best for you, best for the people you have contact with, best for your community. People have asked my feelings on Chauvin and what was happening in his community. I would say, just like most of you, that the result is tragic. It's tragic all the way around, because someone loses their life, there's riots, people are, they lose property, they lose resources, and on and on and on. The ball rolls downhill, not to mention the impact on Floyd's family, not to mention the impact on Chauvin's family. We should not forget that each of us come from parents that love or loved us. We should not forget that regardless of our behavior, regardless of our addictions, regardless of our criminal acts, there's always going to be somebody that loves and cares for us. And so it's not just that we wear a uniform, but we should also remember the people that we're serving and our responsibility to them as well. Whether we agree with what they're doing or not, we still have taken that oath and we still have that responsibility. And I trust that most, if not all of you, will continue to do it well. As a result of Chauvin's actions and the police officers like him, meaning those police officers who go out and would violate their standard operating procedures, violate human decency, and ultimately violate the law. They do not reflect the majority of the law enforcement community. And with that said, you should be encouraged not by what you might hear in the media concerning you and your intent in the job that you do, but you should be encouraged to continue to serve the community that has set you out, set you aside, set you apart, and trusted you to be able to serve and to serve well. You've been forced, if you will, to find yourself in difficult situations and environments as a result of what a few have done around our nation. That makes the water that you drink bitter. It makes the job that you do harder. So what do I mean by bitter waters? There are waters that look great. They are inviting. But when you sip from them, they have no value to your body and in fact are unhealthy to drink. If we're not careful, the job that we do and the people that we serve can become for us bitter waters. Then what's the remedy? We got here somehow. And you, who are currently serving, have a responsibility to continue to carry the mantle, to continue to do your jobs at a high level, and to care for your community and the people who reside or visit there. Let's take a look at Exodus chapter 15, verse 22, where Moses was leading a group of people and led them into the wilderness, and they could not find water to drink. Verse 22. Then Moses led Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days into the wilderness and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink the waters of Marah, because they were bitter. And for that reason, it was named Marah. And so the people grumbled at Moses, saying, "What are we to drink?" And then he cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, and he threw it into the water, and the bitter waters became sweet. Interesting few verses given our topic today, but I want to pull it together for you in this way. We go out, do our jobs, make split-second decisions, difficult decisions in difficult circumstances, and we might be hesitant because of the tenor, the atmosphere, the culture that we find ourselves having to police. Again, that can be bitter waters. What's the remedy? Well, the remedy is the tree. Moses took a tree that God showed him. He put that tree into those bitter waters, and those bitter waters became sweet. Now that tree is a type. It's a representative of the cross of Christ. If you take the cross of Christ and his sacrifice for all of us, and you place his sacrifice into any bitter situation, then that bitter situation, those bitter waters will become sweet. Doing your job, although someone makes you angry, although someone has committed a crime, a minor crime, or a heinous crime, you've been given the responsibility to investigate and enforce accordingly. If you lead with the knowledge of the work of Christ's work on the cross, you can make the most difficult of situations extremely easy. And you can drink from those circumstances and be well at the other side of them. There's nothing worse than some of the things that you have seen or will see. It just seems to get worse and worse. Continue to put Christ in those situations and in those circumstances. Watch and see that he will make those bitter waters sweet. Responding in a way that best reflects biblical truth and biblical direction is the answer, so that we exercise the fruit of the Spirit that God gives us, beginning with love, and a list: joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness. Those things exercised in your life and applied to the job that you do, they'll be helpful, and you'll come out on the other side much, much better, and your community will be best served, and you will best represent not only the law enforcement community, but the community that you serve and the family that you have and those who will come behind you. And so, as always, we support you, we care about you, and we wish you well, wishing God's blessing upon you always. And I say many times to you, God bless you, and always be safe.